Hi, I'm Jack from CodeWhiz. Today, I'm going to explain what 3D printing is, how it works, and most importantly, show you how you can take a file on your computer and turn it into reality like this with 3D printer. Step 1 to knowing what a 3D printer is and how it works is knowing what one looks like. There are many different technologies of 3D printing, each with their own strengths and their own weaknesses. However, the technology that we'll be covering in this video is called FDM, or Fused Deposition Modeling. Over here are some FDM 3D printers. They all look different, but produce a model in the end. How they do that is what we're going to cover next. At its core, FDM technology is actually pretty simple. You start with a spool of filament. This usually comes in 1 kilogram or 2.2 pound rolls. This filament is basically just a strand of plastic, about 1.75 millimeters thick in most cases. This filament gets fed through gears into this thing called the extruder. The extruder has a hot end, which melts the plastic and has a nozzle at the tip. This nozzle squirts out plastic in a controlled manner onto the finished part. The way the model actually builds up is through many thin layers. The first layer is built on top of the bed, and then every layer subsequently is put on that layer. In the end, after some time, you have a finished model. One question this raises is, how does the printer know where to extrude the plastic to make a model? Well, I'm about to tell you how, with the 3 stages of 3D printing. Stage 1 is modeling. Modeling is using software to create a digital replica of what you want to print. Sometimes you just 3D scan something and that becomes your model. But in most cases, you use CAD software to design a model with specific dimensions to be printed out. The second stage of 3D printing is slicing. Slicing is taking the model that you made, which is just a mesh made up of triangles, and turning it into a file that the printer can understand. Now you use special software to slice, and the way it works is it actually slices up the model into a bunch of layers, the way a 3D printer prints, and then exports these layers into a G-code file. A G-code file is pretty much just the instructions that the printer executes, so it turns a file, so a model, into actually a set of commands for the printer. Think of it like code that the printer can understand. Now in slicing software, this is where you put all your settings. For example, the height of each individual layer, the percentage that the model is actually filled in, because usually there's a pattern on the inside, so it's not perfectly solid. And even the speed that it's printed at. This is all put into the slicing software. This is where you can really tune your print to get the best print possible. The third stage of 3D printing is just printing the model. Now, this can be the trickiest part, and it can be the easiest part. You need to make sure that the printer heats up to the right temperatures for the filament that you're using, because there are different types of plastics. Also, you need to make sure that the first layer actually sticks to the bed, because if it doesn't stick, then none of the other layers are going to form properly at all, because they don't have something to build upon. Now, once the print is done, and it depends on the size of the print, but these usually take a matter of hours, you can just pop it off of the bed and enjoy your new print. Most prints don't even need any post-processing, they just work. However, there are some things that no 3D printer can actually print. These are usually steep overhangs. Because of the layer-by-layer process, you can't just print layer by layer by layer on top of each other and then expect something way out here to adhere to anything. Since there's nothing for it to go off of, it would just become a blob around the nozzle. This is where support structures come in. Support structures are basically towers that go from the base of the bed all the way up to these features. They support these features and let them base off of something until they merge with the rest of the model. These support structures are then broken away at the end of the print. Now that I've explained how 3D printing works, I'm going to show you how it's done and how you can go from modeling to printing. This right here is called Tinkercad. It's a modeling software that's based in the cloud and it's free, so you don't even need a powerful computer to run it. I'm going to show you the modeling phase here while I make a keychain. You can follow along as well if you'd like. First, you just click Create New Design. Now, it gives you an interesting random name at the beginning, so you can just rename that. I'm just going to make it Name Tab. So you can see your work plane here. This is a 3-dimensional workspace. With your right-click mouse button, you can look around the work plane, and with middle click, you can move. So on this right bar here, you have your basic shapes. You have a box, a cylinder, a sphere, a scribble, and lots more. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to start out with a box and then put holes in it for the text. So let's start with a box. Now, we're going to make this into the shape of a name tag, but at the moment, it's not even close. So these corners right here, the white pieces, stretch it lengthwise and widthwise, and the blacks just stretch it in one dimension. So I'm just going to make it a pretty good length for a name tag, like that, and then I'm going to click on this white piece up here and make it smaller. This is all in millimeters, so I think that 5 millimeters is a pretty good thickness. Next, it's time to take out the text. So go to the text and just drag it out. So I'm going to make it say my name, Jack, just like this. Highlight the text that's in there, and just write whatever you want. There we go. You can even change the font to something that's a bit more pleasing if you'd like. I'm just going to go with the basic font there. Now you can see it's too big to fit on the keychain box at this moment, so we're just going to make it a little bit smaller. And if you hold shift while you make it smaller, they'll all size at the same time. Then we can make this a hole, because we actually want to carve a hole in this piece. However, it's not lined up with the name tag, and we could try to manually do it, but there's a much easier way. If you click on the hole and then hold shift and click on this name tag body, you see that they're both selected. Then if we click this button up here, align, we can center them with each other. So we can center that, and then we can center that by just clicking the little things in the middle. Now we can be assured that everything is centered. Next, we do that same selecting both of them, and then we click this button right here, group. This grouping process makes it so that any hole that's over an object that's selected, it will be carved. So you can see that now this hole is carved in the name tag. Next, we want to grab a cylinder hole from up top, scale it down the same way we did with the other name, drag it over. We don't need to align this one because it doesn't need to be in the middle. Select both of them, and then click group. Now you might think you're done, but there's a problem here. The middle of the A does not connect with the rest of the body. This can happen on O's, this can happen on B's, it happens on any letter which has kind of an island in the middle. However, there's a very easy way to fix it. We need to take a box, make it the same height as the name tag. So remember, that's 5. So we're going to come around back and type in 5 in the box that comes up. Then we want to make it much smaller and thinner. And we can use the group tool for this as well, because the group tool doesn't just put holes in things, it can combine things too. So you can see now that A has a little support so it can be connected to the rest of the model. If we select both, click on group, now the A is supported. Say you don't like the look of that, you can always click the ungroup button, move it around, and then group it again. Now, I'm going to export this into a model. If you select the model, go up here, click export, the selected shape, and export as a .stl file. STL files are the common file for 3D printing. It will download, and you're ready to slice. When it comes to slicers, there are both free and paid variants. I prefer a paid piece of software called Simplify 3D. However, for the purpose of this tutorial, I'll be using the most popular software, which actually happens to be free. It's called Cura. So right here is the official page for Ultimaker Cura. This is the slicing software I'll be using. To download it, you just have to click download for free. I'm on Windows, so I'll select Windows, and it'll download. I'll be right back when the installer is ready. Once you launch up Cura, you'll be greeted with a welcome screen, and the next thing it'll show you is how to add a printer. So first you want to click on add a non-networked printer if your printer isn't connected to the Wi-Fi, and then you just want to find yours. So mine does happen to be here. Mine is a Monoprice. So if I go down to here, Maker Ultimate. And then you click next. But say yours wasn't there, you would just go into custom and select custom FFF printer. FFF is another term for FDM. It means fused filament fabrication. For these purposes though, I'm going to go with monoprice. Then you click next, and you could create an Ultimaker account if you really wanted to. I'm not going to. So now that we're inside of Cura, this is my build platform right here, and these right here are the settings. So your material that you're using is at the top. Since PLA is what I'll be using, it's also the most common material. I'm just going to keep it at that. You can change your layer height. 0.2 is a very common one, so I'm going to change that to 0.2. Then you can change your infill percentage. Gradual infill makes the infill go higher as it gets to the top. This can be used for certain things that are weaker at the top, other things. This is support material. So support material can be used if there are overhanging structures, like previously mentioned. And then build plate adhesion is pretty much a raft that goes under the print. So it actually prints on top of a small few layers, kind of a crosshatch pattern that lets it stick better, presumably. However, since I don't have any adhesion problems, I can uncheck that. Next, we're going to just click File, Open File, Downloads, nametag.stl. And you can see right there, right in the middle of the build plate, there's the name tag. Now, there are some more advanced settings, but for this tutorial, we're not going to get into that. If you click Custom, you can see there are actually a whole lot of settings you can change, including speed and cooling and all that. But for the most part, the default Cura settings are actually pretty well tuned. Then you just click Slice. You can see that it says it'll take 35 minutes, take 5 grams of filament, so it's not much filament at all. And that's that. So now if you click Preview, you can see that at the top it'll have this pattern on it. And you can just see the path that the nozzle will make. This is just the last layer, but we can just see different views. Like this is the X-ray view. You can see anything that's inside of it, and there's just a lot of different ways you can view it. Then when you click Save to File, you can see the G-code file, and then you just save it and put it on your SD card. Next, we'll see how you print it. So now, it's as simple as walking over to the printer, making sure you plug your SD card in, and hitting print. Now this is definitely a different process on many printers. On this one you have to hit print, find your file, remember I named mine name tag, and there you go. Now it'll start heating the build plate so it sticks properly, and then it'll continue to heat the nozzle. And your printer's going to heat up. Once it's done heating, you should look towards the hot end. And when you do, you'll see that it starts to move. It's moving to the 000 position, also known as home. Basically, it's trying to figure out where it is, and it's just setting the beginning of the box, the print space. This is so it goes to the right space when it tries to print the thing and doesn't try to go too far. First, it's going to bring the bed up to the nozzle, or the nozzle down to the bed, depending on which type of printer you have. Then it's going to purge out some filament. It's going to squirt out some filament. This is just it getting the nozzle ready to extrude. Once it does that, it's going to just start on the first layer. So you can see here, it's purging. It's coming over. And now it's just going to start. You can see right here that it's sticking down. And if the first layer succeeds, your print is likely to be a success. The print finished and it came out perfectly. You can see that because of that little brace we put on the A, it stays in place, and now I can hang this wherever I want. Thank you so much for watching.